This is video IH2. It provides examples of interactive homework. There are many ways to put together an interactive homework activity. Usually, they include the following parts: a title that gives information about what the activity involves, a letter to parents or guardian or other family partner that explains the purpose of the activity. The student writes in the due date and signs the letter. It's usually only a sentence or two long. Objectives, which are optional, explain the learning goal of the activity if it is not clear in the title and the letter. The procedure explains how the activity is to be completed. Things to remember include hints about things that students have learned in class that help them with the homework. Discussion questions and other interactions such as a family survey guide or the student interview questions, to read work aloud for reactions or edit their work, practice a speech, and all kinds of other information. Finally, the home-to-school communication invites the family partner to share comments and observations with language arts teachers, math teachers, or whoever is assigning the interactive homework about whether the child understood the homework, whether they both enjoyed the activity, and whether the parent gained information about the student's work in language arts. A parent signature is usually requested on each activity. These parts can be moved around or changed as needed. For example, here's a title, A Helping Hand, and the letter to parents. Dear family partner, we are writing narrative paragraphs that include the use of specific details. I hope you enjoy this activity with me. This assignment is due, then the student fills in the date, sincerely, and the student signs. If the parent is an ELL parent and does not speak English, the student can translate this short letter into the home language for parents to understand. The objective of this lesson might be something like students will be able to write in narrative form. For this activity, students are to remember that in class they talked about narrative writing, that it tells a story, includes a definite beginning, middle, and end, and uses details to support the main ideas in a clear sequence of events. For the procedure, the student will 1. Read the following prompt and discuss it if they want to with their family member, and of course there would be a prompt below. Then complete the pre-writing chart, which would also be integrated into the homework handout, and then write the rough draft of the paragraph. For the interaction, the students read what they have written to their family member and answer who's listening. If they need to read it and then translate it into their first language so the parent or family member understands, well, that's okay too. Then the student changes or edits their work. And finally, the really interactive part is the family survey, where the student asks the parent or the family member, what experience do you remember when you were a teen and someone helped you? Then the student writes the example that the family partner shares. If the family partner shares in a language other than English, the student puts it into English and writes it down. Remember, the parent isn't teaching the student anything. They're sharing experiences and information. And finally, in this activity, the home-to-school communication might be something like, Dear parent, please react to these questions. Write yes or no. My child understood the homework. My child and I enjoyed this activity. This assignment helped me understand what's going on in class, and any other comments. The parent could add comments if they're literate and able to write in their first language, or have the student write down any comments, and then this parent signs. Ideas for interactive homework include any kind of interview, survey, or poll where they have to get information from their family member, different kinds of games, data collection, a record of their partner's reactions to something, application of a skill that they can do together, or sharing something. Students can use their first language to both strengthen it and to help parents participate. Their answers have to be in the second language, English, so they are working on both, and research shows that this is the best way for students to learn language. Here's an example. The objective is for students to be able to use various units of measure. So students will choose a measure such as a fork, a shoe, a toothbrush, or anything else they have in their home to measure rooms, people, or whatever else they have, and to compare the measurements that they made with the measurements that their family member makes. Parents can choose one measure and the child another measure, or each measure the same thing to compare, or each measure something different with the same item. There are lots of choices of ways to meet this objective and for the parents and the students to interact. Note that the student should write down the answers to the questions. The parent doesn't have to write anything. Here's another example. Students will be able to use past tense in question format. To do so, students can interview a family member, or if one is not available, an older friend, by asking, did you, or when did you, or whatever form of the past tense they're using. They can put the questions together in class so that they understand what the questions are and then write the answers in English. Here are some more examples. It's important to make sure that your interactive homework assignment won't be considered offensive culturally or in any other way, or the subject of meanness. So you wouldn't want to have students go home and weigh their family members to see which one is the fattest, or you wouldn't want them to check the IQs of their family members to see who's the stupidest. But there are lots of other ways that they can participate. Parents, when students explain what recyclable means, can help them write a list of recyclable products that they have in their home, or they can look at labels on food to see what kind of products are in the food that they eat or where those food products come from. They can count the calories that they eat daily. They can say, who would you rather be, this person or this person? They can write a story about the family or listen to a story about the family, and the student can write it down as the parent or family member explains. All the interactive homework doesn't have to be written, however. They can also do photo essays and all kinds of other creative works together. Not all students can finish all portions of this assignment. If you need to adapt interactive homework for certain students, you can assign only certain portions of the homework. You can give them extra time if needed, and add extra activities for more advanced students. Or, alternatively, some sections of the interactive homework could be made extra credit. Now test yourself and see what you understand about creating interactive homework.